The movie kicks off by showing us a white car driving around the roads of a brightly lit city. The white car then follows a black car and bumps into it. When they reach a remote place, the drivers step out of their cars and the guy from the black car takes some images of the accident in case his insurance company asks for them. But then the driver of the white car all of a sudden hits him and drags him into the backseat of the black car. He stabs him, kills him, and then drives away in the white car. On August 5th, a hot summer day, two cops are caught up in a traffic jam. They are listening to the radio about the murder that occurred in the initial scene. Since traffic is not moving, one of them, T-Sock, steps out of the vehicle and walks to a gambling facility. The security tries to stop him by bribing him. They put a pile of money in his pocket, but T-Sock doesn't like that and beats them up slightly. He then proceeds to arrest a guy who works behind a counter. The charge is illegal exchange of money. Meanwhile, a mafia boss, Dong-soo, is practicing on a punching bag. Some of his men walk into the room and tell him about the incident. Dong-soo first orders for the punching bag to be put down. His men lower the punching bag and open it. A man has been trapped inside and he is all bloodied and beaten up. Dong-soo then leaves the building and gets into a car. He has a chauffeur in two other cars following him like a convoy. He calls someone in the police department and complains about the cop who just burst into his gambling facility. He is paying money to this police director to keep his men from doing such things, and it upsets him. T-Sock makes this guy he arrested drive his motorcycle and give him a ride to a crime scene. T-Sock handcuffs him onto the motorcycle and approaches the scene. In the background, the guy can be seen turning his motorbike around in order to escape. So T-Sock approaches the scene and it seems like the police have already stumbled upon the man who was murdered. T-Sock examines the scene alongside his partners. He finds a clue that probably indicated somebody bumped into his car from behind. Dong-soo speaks with Xanadu, another gangster, and they talk about respecting their territories and their duties. They mostly disagree and their two bodyguards, one for each, gets mixed up in the verbal disagreement. Dong-soo gets up and punches his own bodyguard while he removes two teeth from the other bodyguard's mouth with his bare hands. He says that they should not speak when the bosses are speaking. Needless to say, Xanadu has been so daunted that he can't differ on anything else. At the police station, a group of men are having a meeting and they are analyzing the victim's life. He has no deaths and no enemies. Then they try to build a profile around the killer. T-Sock suggests that he must be a serial killer because there have been two more killings where a knife of the same length has been used. The other men disagree with T-Sock, while at the same time the director picks on him because he crashed the gambling facility without having the authority to do so. T-Sock won't change his mind. He just wants to catch up bad guys. Dong-soo walks out of the building with his bodyguard holding an umbrella above his head. He orders his guard car to take the other men and go home. He is not drunk and he will drive on his own. On the way, Dong-soo is driving while talking on the phone. Unexpectedly, a car bumps into his car from behind and he hangs up. The driver steps out of the vehicle. The other man is not just anyone. He is the serial killer. Dong-soo doesn't want to notify his insurance company about the incident and walks away. The killer won't let him though. He shocks Dong-soo and stabs him twice, but Dong-soo is not an easy target. A fight breaks out. Dong-soo ultimately takes the knife out of the killer's hand and stabs him back. The killer gets into his car and runs over Dong-soo. Dong-soo is transferred to a hospital while his men go chasing and killing other members of the underworld to get their vengeance. At the same time, the serial killer cleans his knife and takes care of his wound. He then walks through an outdoor facility, finds another target, an old man, and stabs him. Dong-soo wakes up and talks with his bodyguard. He has no idea who the attacker was, but tells his guard to look for a white sedan. T-Sock visits Dong-soo to get his statement, but Dong-soo gives him nothing. T-Sock goes on to examine Dong-soo's car and makes the connection. A white sedan has bumped into his car from the back. It must be the same person. Tae-seok speaks with the police director and tells him to stop covering up for Dong-soo. He says they need to bring him in for questioning. After all, Dong-soo has seen the attacker's face. He furthermore claims that he was right about the serial killing thing. He must be the serial killer. Who else would have the guts to attack the leader of a gang? The director doesn't want to hear it anymore and kicks him out of the office. A montage shows us the serial killer stopping by a gas station to grab a coffee from the vending machine. He spots a man and stabs him to death, while at the same time Dong-soo is describing the face of the killer to a woman. She is drawing a sketch and she gets it pretty close. Dong-soo gives the sketch to his bodyguard and orders him to find the attacker before the police do. While the killer is driving the truck, a man wakes up. He has been sleeping in the cabin of the truck. The killer eliminates him as well, but the knife drops out of the truck and rests on the side of the road. Tae-seok visits Dong-soo one more time to try and add some pressure on him as well as appeal to his emotions. That killer is completely crazy and he must be stopped or more people will die. Dong-soo doesn't give a damn, but later, as his guard tells him that their businesses are not doing well, gossip has started around his name after he was attacked. Dong-soo decides that he has to get this killer and kill him to clear his name and regain respect. His men have found the white sedan and a knife he uses to kill people. Dong-soo invites Tae-seok to collaborate on the quest. If Tae-seok finds him first, he can bring him to justice, but if Dong-soo finds him, he will punish him as he wishes. They share all the information they have till now and Dong-soo reveals his camera which has been filming the whole time they were talking. Of course, he needs some guarantee for working with a cop, and so the gangster and the cop are working together to catch the devil. The killer must be around 35 years old and he absolutely kills at night. Tae-seok shares the secret with his partner and another officer and tells them they will assist the gangsters in finding the killer and then they will arrest him. Dong-soo tells Oh-sang, his guard, that they will let the cops help them and once they find the killer, they will get rid of them. Dong-soo obscures the case a little bit more. He orders a hit on Xanadu and the assassin uses the serial killer's knife. Not only that, but he also leaves it right there for the cops to find. When the forensics examines it, they find genetic info on it that connects it to the previous murders at the gas station. Tae-seok solves the mystery and understands that Dong-soo got rid of Xanadu in a way that would trick the police into thinking that the serial killer did it. Tae-seok visits Dong-soo and they had a fight, but he can't really do much about it. The news is reporting about Xanadu's death and a new team is swarming to help the investigation. The real serial killer is watching the news in a restaurant and hums it to himself. I didn't do that. A young man listens to him and looks at him terrified. The killer gets up and leaves. On his way out, he taps the young man on the shoulder. At Xanadu's funeral, the serial killer is sitting among the crowd and is keeping an eye on Dong-soo. He approaches Xanadu's bodyguard and gives him a note which reads, "Xanadu was killed by my knife, but not by me." His face points at Dong-soo. Dong-soo and Tae-seok are now taking a closer look at the white sedan and they find a stain of blood under the wheel that could potentially lead to the killer's identity. All of a sudden, a group of men attacks them. They are Xanadu's men. A huge fight breaks out and the two of them manage to kick their asses. Later on, Tae-seok and his partner get a lead on the serial killer and they actually get to see him with their own eyes. They hunt him down along the streets, but he manages to outpace them. They discover a place where the killer often drank. They start looking for the bottle he drank from and visit a factory where the empty bottles get returned for recycling. They also bring the forensics team with them and try to get some new clues or leads. Dong-soo is forming some new partnerships, trying to reinstate his business to its former glory. At the police department, a woman who works in forensics gives Tae-seok a file and recommends he goes looking for that guy who has been declared missing a long time ago. but she found a fingerprint that matches the one she found on the white sedan's wheel. It might be some kind of misdirection, but it's worth checking out. T-Sock visits a house that is rented by someone he suspects might be the killer. He speaks with the landlady and she says that the man who rents the house is a good man who has never caused any trouble. He is able to find some pictures and some other clues. He compares the picture to the sketch they have from Dong-soo's description, and this is definitely the serial killer. T-Sock tells his partners and Dong-soo about it and they take action. They shared the killer's picture with everyone and searched the whole city for him. Unfortunately, no luck yet. The men are tired and they chose to take a break. Dong-soo is waiting for T-Sock at a random meeting point. It's raining and a female student is waiting for the bus next to Dong-soo. He gives her his umbrella to protect her from the rain until the bus gets there. Dong-soo, T-Sock and their men are eating dinner when the news of the television draws their attention. The student to whom Dong-soo gave his umbrella has been found dead. He gets angry and everyone gets up to search for the killer again. This time they spot him in a car and a car chase takes place. Dong-soo and Oh-sang crush the killer in T-Sock at the same time. Yet the killer escapes on foot through the dark alleys. They split up to chase him. The killer stabs Oh-sang, but then Dong-soo is able to track him down and serve him a good thrashing. Dong-soo takes him to a warehouse and tortures him. When he's ready to slice his head off, T-Sock crashes into the warehouse with his car and knocks out Dong-soo. Then he formally arrests the killer and takes him to the police station. One major problem arises when the police do not have enough proof to send the killer on a death row. T-Sock pursues Dong-soo to present himself as a witness in the court. Dong-soo agrees to do so if T-Sock promises him to send him to the same jail with the killer. Dong-soo appears in court and proves that the killer has indeed attacked him. When they fought, he stabbed the killer on his left side chest. The policeman undressed the killer and he has a wound right in the indicated area of his body. The killer ends up in the jail alongside Dong-soo, who would probably kill him before the completion of his death sentence.